So I've been seeing these shirts everywhere on the internet. Instagram, Facebook, all over social media. I'm like, what? I got to get one of these shirts. So I'm here in Las Vegas, these beautiful resort. We're here at a conference, Grow with Live, all this stuff, trying to learn how to do YouTube better.
Yep.
And I run into the man behind the brand. All right, so you're in for a treat. We're going to talk to my man, Justin Owens, right now.
Let's do it, man.
Okay, class, it's Chris Haskins with therealestateroundup.com. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Today, we're gonna skew to the entrepreneur side, leaving the real estate behind just for a little bit, because I need you to understand life is not about one dimension. Multiple streams of income. That's why we got my man, Justin Owens. What's up, homie?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
It's good to see you.
Glad to be here, Chris, man. It's exciting.
I don't know if I feel like I'm an older uncle or something. Like you look so good. You're a young gentleman.
You know, peace does that to you, man. Peace does it to you. So,
Wow.
Yeah, excited about it.
Backstory, brother. I love what it's like. You exude success when you walk in the room. Give me the backstory of who you are, where you are, what you're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First, I just want to say shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously they know, but just meeting you, got great energy, positive all weekend, and still a student. So I think that's great that you're teaching, but it's like, you're still learning. And I think that's
Always
really what it's about.
Thank you, brother.
I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18.
But now,
5.
Okay, 35.
Yeah, I look.
You look.
Look a little young, but 35. And I teach people about leadership and business and all that stuff. But really for me, I'm just like a serial entrepreneur. Okay. I love business. I love investing. Real estate is one of the things I want to learn. So it's pretty cool that we're sitting down and talking.
Cool.
But yeah, man, I know the background on the shirt was, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and a lot of times I'm 6'5", right? So you're 6'5", you have a nice car, nice house. First question people ask is,
give me the typical day. Just frame it up for my roundup homies. How does it happen?
You get out the car, people are like, oh man, basketball, play basketball? No. Football? No. So I would get that, and then, just depending on where I was in Atlanta, it would be like, hey man, are you in music? Because sometimes people see jewelry and they just see a lot of people around them sometimes, like, okay. And I'm like, no, I don't do that either. I'm an entrepreneur. And so literally how the brand started, I was like, I'm tired of people asking me this question. I'm going to go home, I'm going to make a shirt, and I'm going to just put it on there.
This is crazy to me,
Not a
yo.
rapper, not an athlete, entrepreneur. And, then I started going out. It was, people were like, man, I like that shirt. What do you do? And I would tell them, and then they would be like, man, I need to get that shirt. And I was like, well, I don't really sell it. They're like, but you should, because I would buy one. And I got that probably 100 times before I was like, all right, cool, let me just make some shirts and then, start sewing it into people and just giving it to them. I wasn't even selling it at first. I was like, hey, man, y'all like this, you like this. And then I saw...
Let's stay there for a minute and we keep going. The universe and God almost, I feel like you got the message.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Through other people.
Yeah, and it kept knocking. I was like, okay, I need to do something with this. And that was in 2014.
Wow.
That was in 2014. We started doing that. And then, we were just, like I said, we're doing events. I was giving it to people. And then I knew it was something because I started seeing people like knock it off. Like it's even now.
Knock it off.
Like copy it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
bootleg joint.
Yeah, bootleg it. And then, so I even have, like now, if you go on Amazon, I have my attorney almost every month. We had to go send letters every month to get the stuff taken down. And I was like, okay, well, we got something here.
That's just the price of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was like, man, listen, if people knock off Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Rolex, I don't have a shot. So it's just a part of the game. But the message is really important because it's not like, and I always tell people because I work with athletes, I have friends that are athletes, friends that are rappers and stuff like that. But I tell them it's not a knock against that. It's just, it's going against the stereotypes of what people think success looks like if you look like me. It's like, I have some friends that don't look like me.
That.
And that's not the question they get asked. It's like, oh, what kind of business do you own? Or, what are you in? It's not like, hey, man, do you play basketball? And it's really,
wow. That's deep.
It's that part. But then it's also like growing up, the only time you saw somebody living well with the nice cars and the nice house is what they were doing, unless they were selling drugs. So for me, it was like,
wow,
it's twofold. One, it's a great message for one side, then it's also an example for the next generation. It's like, listen, you don't have to do that.
I love it.
You can, if you want to, great. But guess what? All the athletes and entrepreneurs and rappers that I know, when their career is over, they typically go into some type of business. And so it's still important to learn the skill sets that come around with entrepreneurship, and that's what we start teaching people.
Today's video is brought to you by PropStream. PropStream is the real estate software we're all using to access big data. Let me show you what that looks like. I've got a house here that I did a search on. It gives you the owner name, mailing address. It can show you the mortgage information. When did they get that loan? How much did they borrow? You can even see comparable sales. What are houses selling for in that area? Now, here are some other filters that you can add to pull lists on any area that you like. You got bankruptcies, free and clear properties, vacant houses in that area, houses with high equity. Perhaps your seller has a lien on it, bank-owned properties. Now, here's the really cool part. Once you pull your lists from all those filters that you put in, you can then use this software to skip trace the owners to get their phone numbers and email addresses. Now, I've negotiated a discount for the Roundup family. If you go to the link in the video description below, you can sign up for PropStream and get 50 free property pulls as well. Use PropStream for all your big data needs. I'm so excited. When I saw the shirt, I'm like, is this the guy? Maybe the guy? I don't even know. Like, what do you?
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's literally, when I get on the airplane, I go to the airport, I go to events, I'm like, man, this is crazy. I mean, it's humbling, you know?
How does it feel, man, to have such an impact on our community in general? Because that's me. I see myself in that.
Yeah, no, we'll get you one. We'll make sure you get one. But it's, like I said, it's humbling, you know, because, I think everybody has an idea. Like, you've got a podcast and it's doing extremely well. But it was an idea at first, and you're like, hey, man, let me just pick up the camera and start talking to people, and then people start connecting with you. And so I feel like it's the same thing, There's probably people watching here that's like, man, I've been thinking about, real estate or thinking about starting something. It's like, I just tell people, it's like, man, when you keep getting the same sign over and over and over again knocking at your door, at some point, I mean, how many videos are you going to watch before you just say, okay, you know what, let me go do that? How many times I'm going to hear Kris say, go do this, and I'm not going to do it. So I think for me, it was just like, okay, I'm grateful that I listened, because what I realize in life is that, if you don't take advantage of an idea, it'll just go to somebody else.
It'll keep going.
It'll keep going.
That's how the universe works.
Yeah, it does.
But you had to be the person, tell me about the person, Justin, that was able to, like for me, I was in the music business when I was younger. Opportunities come and go. But it wasn't until after I got out of the business, got into real estate, I could see different opportunities because of the person that I was. Tell me about how you became the person to actually see, not only when you see it, you saw it come and go, but then you act. Tell me about that.
So when I first had the idea, I didn't have that much money. And so that point it was just an idea, and I was like, okay, for me to really do it the way I want to do it, I've got to grow my income. And I think that's important for everybody, because everybody has ideas. Like, I don't know if your whole goal was, I want to be a real estate guy, but my whole thing was, and I wanted to teach people about investing. I didn't want to just necessarily do leadership training when I was a kid. Like now I do it, and I do it well. But that wasn't my goal. And so I was like, okay, I got this idea, I like it. But I wasn't going to be the guy that was selling clothes out of the trunk. And I have friends that do it and they do it well, but I'm like, no, I'm going to build a company. Like, we've got a warehouse in Atlanta. We got employees that work for the company. They ship out everything. So when people are like, hey, man, you got a shirt on you? I'm like, no. But
you're not that guy.
No, you can go on the website. But I knew that at the beginning. I knew that at the beginning. I was like, wow. I was like, no, I'm not. When I build this brand, I'm going to build it like normal people build companies. And that just made people like it a lot more. And so then it was like, okay, I have this idea, and I had some traction. But what I did was, I was still studying clothing. I was still studying, what was working well, what wasn't working well. Well, I kept it really simple at the beginning because I have a lot of money. So I had one T-shirt. It was a black T-shirt with white letters, gold writing. And because I was like, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on a whole bunch of different variations. It's
you
more
told
expensive.
Me that earlier. Yeah, you told me that.
Keep it simple. And you almost build a tribe, and then it took probably 2 or 3 years before I released another color. And everybody was like, what? We got white ones now? And then those went crazy. And then from there, we went from there to the track suits and the jackets.
What is this here? What is this?
This is a track suit. This one is like, we got like, this is a special edition one, but it's like.
For you?
No, we sell it. It's online.
Okay.
But it's got like the velour on the sides and the arm, so
that is
throw a little,
sexy, brother.
Make it luxury, like you feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like,
oh man,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Quality. You know what I mean? But we didn't start that way. I started with Gildan t-shirts.
Gildan, is that a brand?
Yes.
Okay.
It's probably the most inexpensive t-shirt brand that you can get.
It's real rough when you put it on.
Yeah, but again, starting out, that's not where I wanted to stay. And I think with anybody, and I don't know totally everything about real estate, but the people I know that did it is like, first house you buy is probably not your dream house that you're gonna be getting into. It's like, we gotta get in the door, we gotta learn about it, and we grew in it. So I was like, okay, this is not where I want to stay, this is where I want to go, but I got to learn the principles here, and then we start scaling up. So that's what worked.
Talk to my Roundup homies, and for anybody that wants to reach out to you, Justin, how do they get in touch with you? I forgot. I want to drop that real quick.
Instagram, New Age CEO. Same
New
thing on
Age
TikTok.
Cool.
YouTube, Justin Owens, and then the website is newageceos with the s.com.
New Age CEOs. They can go there and get the product.
Yep, they can get the product, everything get delivered to you, all that stuff.
For my Roundup homies that think they need to have it, I heard you say, man, I didn't have a lot of money. This is what I did. For most, I get this a lot. People think they need to have it all in line. They need to have the budget. They need to have the vision, everything kind of set before they start. What can you give them?
Yeah, I think that's just an excuse. Does money make things easy? Yeah, but if you don't know anything, you just lose it faster.
You lose it.
And I've been there before. Where it's like, man, why did I buy that? But I did it because I could afford to do it. Where when I didn't have the money, I would have thought about those processes. I thought about it a lot better.
Okay.
So I think it's just an excuse that we buy to make it easier. Like people tell me, like, oh man, well I didn't have the influence that you had, and I don't have the followers that you have. I'm like, but
you didn't have this.
Go back to who my page was in 2014. So we're making excuses based on where I am today, not knowing.
You've been digging.
Most people, especially if they look like us, or they're not gonna come from a lot, and so most people start that way.
You say that respectively.
Yeah, no, for sure. I had a guy. I was at an event. He was like, "Man, Justin, you've got a family, and everybody just can't do this stuff full time, and so what would you say to a person that's like they've got something going on, they got real bills, they got this stuff, and they want to make a transition?" I was like, bro, that was me.
That was just what I'm saying.
It was the exact same story that I had, except for that was my reason and not my excuse.
Your reason in that, wow.
Yeah,
That's
in
deep.
fact, a lot of people sometimes, everything that you've gone through in your journey, you looked at it and you said, this is my reason I have to keep going. And then somebody else ran across some of the same challenges and like, man, I got thrown in the towel. Same situation. And so one of the things I teach people is like, you have to learn how to remix your failures.
Remix your failures.
Remix your failures. That's one of the things we teach all the time. It's like, you got to learn how to look at something that you lost on or something that you didn't win on, where there's a shirt design or, I've had vendors and stuff didn't work out. I've done shout outs with people sometimes and I paid them and they didn't even do the post. It's like, okay, I got to learn from that. I'm not going to do that again. And sometimes it was $50 or $100, but
still
at
money
that time,
lost. Yeah.
Oh, that was a lot of money. I'm like, I'm in their DM, like, oh, that's what we doing now? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, we're going to handle that later.
I need my 50.
But, yeah, no, but I just started getting smarter about how I was doing it. And what I did, I tell people you start local and you finish global. And so what I did is I started with my friends. I would go to events like this. And I would just be handing out shirts like, hey man, and then people start liking it, and I was like, okay, it's a nice gift now, because now people see it everywhere, and it's like,
I did,
yeah, and so it starts growing, and now it's like, man, there's people that buy it. I've had schools buy it for their kids. I've had so many people just really kind of get around it because they just like what it stands for.
Thank you for bringing this to the community, man. I just can't thank you enough.
Nah, man, I appreciate you having me, bro. So you got great energy, so I love it.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
So he has to get back to his family. My last thing is, Justin, 2014, fast forward to where you are today, you're doing, I have no idea what you're doing, man. I feel like you're training entrepreneurs, getting the good word of entrepreneurship out to our community. Tell us what this Justin looks like.
Yeah, today what I really teach people on is like, some people call it like leadership development, but it's really like, it's teaching people how to like lead themselves. So they can build a community. The biggest question I get all the time is like, Justin, how did you build your influence? How did you build your tribe? And then how did you grow your team? And that just comes from you being, in my opinion, a great person, but learning how to lead people effectively and how to communicate effectively. Lack of communication will mess up a lot of relationships. And so,
business and personal.
Yeah, business and personal. And relationship management is something I've done well, which has helped me to win long term in life. But it's not the quick game.
Oh no!
It's building the relationships. It's talking. It's like the fact that you spoke earlier and we had a conversation and that was cool. It was like, okay, now we're sitting down. But it's like if a person's rude. Or,
ego. I find ego keeps us. Well, I just say people that look like me.
People forget, man, sometimes. And what I try to do is I still try to not forget that. But we teach people that how to communicate with different personalities, and all of that stuff is really self-assessment. It's like once you understand you better, that allows you to be able to communicate and work with other people better, not only from your lens, but also more importantly from their lens, giving them what they need, what they want, because as you're building a team, I mean, you know, like, look, everybody's not trying to make $1 million. Everybody's on here may not be trying to be a multi-millionaire. They just want to be, let me spend some more time with my kids. I want to spend more time with, you know, my spiritual life. I want to spend, you know, just have more flexibility, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so when I start understanding that and start understanding that with people,
Can't push grind everybody.
yeah, and then people start asking like, bro, how have you connected with all these people that you connected with in your life? Like, you guys have these events, you got some of the biggest people in the world on the stage. How do you do it? I'm like, man, it's relationships, and it's really one of the things. Really, I don't really see anybody really teaching on how to mature and grow and develop relationships, and so that's
It's
something
work.
that,
I would say that even with a marriage and with my business, I feel that you have to work to cultivate a relationship.
It is. Yeah. But what does everybody want? Everybody just wants to get something from everybody. And so the relationship takes time. It's like, I need something from you now.
I hope I'm giving you some value to get your word out to my Roundup homies, brother.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, bro. No,
All right.
Yeah.
Justin Owens, y'all. It's an honor to hang out with young entrepreneurs.
Yes.
All my entrepreneur friends, we're old geek. My mentor says, Chris, I've got underwear older than you.
Oh no, you gotta throw them away. They're older than you. You gotta get another pair.
He's an elderly gentleman, and he trains me stuff. So look, like the content, follow Justin too. You got YouTube, but what's your best? IG, you strong?
IG, TikTok, and YouTube. Like we're launching the podcast in August.
Cool.
And the course is on leadership and building relationships in business.
Maybe we could probably bring you on the channel to talk about that and see if some of my Roundup homies might want to come to your stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, be cool.
Like the content, share with anybody else that needs to understand entrepreneurship, right? It's not just one. Look at, I'm bringing you other guys. I'm real estate to the death, but we're doing cars, Airbnbs, all different type of entrepreneurial ventures, and I don't have to do it all. We just have to know the people and have the team to do it.
That's it.
All right, Roundup. We'll see you on the next video. Justin, thank you.
Hey, Chris, I enjoyed it, bro. Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
All right.